move into Gradebook, Speedgrader, and Student Grades. All right. Now, for Gradebook and Speedgrader, this is going to be a lot of watching unless you have a rostered class with submissions or you've submitted something as a test student. So I'm going to give us a break. And before we get into this section, if you want to come back into your module and then come into an assignment, and it really doesn't matter which one, as long as it's published, okay? Just make sure you publish the module and publish the assignment. If you want to come in and go into Student View and start the assignment and just do a file upload and submit it, this will help you a lot when we get to Speedgrader. So you would just upload that file, and it really doesn't matter what file it is, right? You know, just it could be even just be like a recipe or whatever you want it to be, right? So just find something and upload it. And then I'll say submitted. So we're going to head on into our, Speedgrader and Gradebook. We're going to talk about our global options, all the viewing options inside of our Gradebook, some settings that you may have, some additional assignment options as well. Speedgrader, how to navigate it, giving great feedback. That rubric will really help, that we talked about before. Also, what the doc previewer looks like. You saw a little bit of the doc previewer for that student annotation. It's exactly the same inside of Speedgrader. What students get for a annotation or a peer review is exactly the same that you get inside of Speedgrader. I will also look at what it looks like from the student gradebook as well. And then we'll wrap up with talking about your support here at Canvas, our Panda Pro session I've mentioned several times. Also any lingering Q&A you have for me. And that's going to be the rest of our training today. All right, so I'm going to go on in and back into your instance. Come get out of student view. So over here on grades, here we are. All right. Now, notice that your course navigation goes away. You can get it back. All right. See these three lines. Sorry, some people call this a hamburger. You can get your your course navigation back just by clicking it, and it comes back. Okay. So if you're wondering, you know, how do I get out of this? You just click that. All right. And that navigation shows up. So we're just going to start, and we're going to go from left to right. All right. So hopefully you're in here with me. We're going to look at our gradebook settings. So clicking gradebook, I've got individual view. Now, what individual view is, this is FERPA compliant. If you were to have a conference with a parent or student in person or virtually, going to individual view is probably what you want to do. All right. You can also, if you're sectioning, you can choose a section. You can also sort your assignments here. Now, coming on down, this is where you actually would select your student, where it says content selection. So I'm going to come down to my test student. All right. And then I can also select an assignment that I want to look at if I want to look at a specific assignment for that student as well. So I can get very, very granular with this. As I come down, I can, well, my test students has no grades, but you can see the weighting here. All right. So if they did have grades, you could see that. All right. Now I'm going to come out to a course that I really do have grades in. So you can see what this looks like. Let's see, I'll choose Stephanie. And so you can see that Stephanie has in her assignment, she has a 99, all right? And how many points that she has accumulated inside of this course. I can even come to an assignment. Let's say I'm going to come to that home page, screenshot, all right? And I can see more information about that homepage screenshot. All right. So here it is. The points possible, the average score, the high and the low. All right. And even through this, I can message students. All right. So message students who haven't submitted, you have lots of options under this, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. All right. So individual view is a great thing. I can choose my student. I can go to Desiree. All right. Wow. Desiree is not doing well. Her grade is 63. So I can see this just at a glance. So that's what individual view is for. I can also download those current scores as well. Now, to get out of individual view, all right, I have to come up here and just go back to Gradebook. And it will take me back to that Gradebook. All right. Gradebook History, all right, right underneath that. Gradebook History is going to show you any changes made in a grade, all right? So for example, if you, if a student were to need some extra credit, if you were to change a grade for whatever reason, you would be able to see that change in Gradebook History. I can even filter students, all right? So let's see, I'll do Michelle. All right, so there's Michelle. And come over here and filter that. So I can see all of Michelle's grades inside of Gradebook History. And I can see, like for that homepage screenshot, her grade came up, all right? So she had a 13 and then it got changed and it came up to an 18, all right? So points were added to that for whatever reason. So I can see what they had before and then I can see what she currently has. All right, so that's a little bit about Gradebook History. And again, I can come and change my student, whatever I need to do. And again, I can see any changes that were made. All right. So this is nice if you were to make an oopsie or a student were to say, hey, did you give me that extra credit? And you can come back and say Gradebook History and you can look and that will tell you, all right? Coming over to view, arrange by. Now, arrange by is, remember default order? Do you remember what that is? That was a long time ago, wasn't it? Default order is the order of your assignments index page. Okay, so however your assignments are on this index page, that's your default order. Okay, so you can see at this point, I've made so many assignments. All right, there they are. So this is starting my default order inside my gradebook. See how it is? Essay on colonist strengths, persuasive essay, position paper. It's that way on that assignments page too. So right now it is in default order of my assignments index page. I can do assignment name, alphabetical, front and back, due date, oldest to newest, and newest to oldest. This is nice at the end of the term to flip your gradebook around, newest to oldest. Points, low to high, high to low, and then module first to last and last to first. This is really nice too. That way I don't have to do, you know, this copious scroll, because quite frankly, that's annoying. So what I can do instead is just flip it around and get to it a lot easier, just like so. All right, so that just flipped it around so I can see those later modules. Filtering. This is important and useful. Filters. I can filter my assignment groups for you. That would be daily and test. All right. So when I say filter assignment groups, I can say, oh, okay, I want to see all my assignments. Okay. There they are. Okay. Or I can say, excuse me, daily. Here's all my daily. All right. And then I can filter it and say, all right, I want to see all my tests. And there's all my tests. So I can do that as well. I can double filter this. I can do assignment groups and modules. So I can say, all right, I want to see all my daily grades in Unit 1. And that way it would just show me my Unit 1 daily grades, okay? Or I want to see my Week 2 daily grades. So that way I can filter as well. And it's not so overwhelming, right? So I am now filtering it by my daily grades by module. And I can switch it and say, okay, well, no, I want to see my test in Week 2 now. So that way it really helps me with grading, this double filtering. So now it's very precise, right? Week 2 module, the test in Week 2. All right. So really nice feature there if I were to need it, and you are going to need it. Status. All right. Now, remember how you had the question before, is there any way to have an assignment submission to be on paper and online with one assignment? And I said, well, no, because, you know, if you make it on paper and people submit online, you know, that's not going to work. We'd have to make it online, and then some people just hand the paper in. So for those people who hand the paper in, they're going to be tagged as late or as missing, okay? So these colors are going to show up. Now, that's what this is for. If you don't like these colors, by the way, you can change them. So you can hit the little pencil and say, well, you know, I don't really like the color of late here. You know, I'm going to change this to lilac or whatever. So up to you, whatever color you want this to be. Now, what it looks like is this. That's how I know what's going on with those status colors. They are enormously helpful. All right. I can see at a glance who has submitted late and those that are missing. All right. So that's what status colors are for. Columns. Now, right now I'm seeing my unpublished assignments and I really don't want to, I don't need to see this. All right, so I can turn this off and it makes all of that disappear. All right, so if you don't want to see that, you can turn it off. You can also add notes. So for example, if Thomas has an IEP, I can put that in and hit save. Now, Thomas will never see this, his parents will never see it, students won't see it. If you want this to go away, you can just come back and click notes and it goes away. If you want it to come back, that note's still there. All right. So some really nice features. Moving over to actions, import and export, all this is. If you wanted a CSV or Excel document of your gradebook, you could export it and you could have that print out. All right. Importing some people really like to import a spreadsheet into their Canvas gradebook. In your instance, I would not do it because you're doing grade passback. All right. And that's going to mess things up. The only other reason you would do an import is if for whatever reason you were doing some cross-listing and you have to import those grades from the other section. All right. So that would be the only other reason you would do that import. Coming on over, we talked about filtering it by your groups and your modules. You can also come over and search. So if I wanted to filter it just down to a student, notice how I typed in Thomas, everybody else disappeared except Thomas. So I can filter it by individual student, and I'll come in here and do it. So I have 2 Stephanies in here. All right. So I would have to either continue to type their last name or just be happy with that. All right. Now, last thing on our journey across is the gear. I've got my gear up here, top right, and I had some late policies. So automatically apply grade for missing submissions. Whatever your policy is. All right. Right now it's 100. Okay, if I check that, they're going to get a 100 if they don't hand it in. So I would have to change this, like for example, the lowest grade they get is a 60. All right. Do you have to do that? No. It's only if I check it. All right. Do I start automatically applying grades? If I don't check this, nothing happens. I would have to, it would just sit there. All right. And it would not be calculated into their final grade. It wouldn't go for them and it wouldn't go against them. All right. So you can manually then input a grade if you wanted to, or you can check this and then have manually, the gradebook takes care of it for you. So whatever your grading policy is. Automatically apply deduction for late submissions. All right, so you could say, 0.5% per day, etc. And also you can do lowest grade percent. So like, for example, my husband's district, the lowest grade that they allow is a 60. Even if they are, scoring 20s and 30s, the lowest possible grade percent a student can get is a 60. It's an F. It's a lot kinder than a 30. Okay. So if that's something that you have in place, then you can also automatically apply it. Grade posting policy. By default, Canvas automatically posts grades. So as soon as you grade something, or if it's a quiz that's automatically graded, students see it. If you don't want students to automatically see grades, you would say manually post. That means you control when you post the grade. All right. So up to you. This is global. You can control it by assignment. all right? But this is a global rule. So if you just wanted to keep it automatic and then come into the assignment and then choose each assignment, if you wanted to hide those grades or post those grades, you could do that as well. Whatever you decide, you have update, all right? And it says Gradebook has been, Gradebook settings are updated. Again, and we've gone all the way across here. Let me clear off Thomas's name. There we go. And we're going to come down one level. All right. So we're going to come in to the actual grid. All right. So student name. All right. You can sort by their, obviously their name, their student information number, integration. You can also flip the order, alphabetical or backwards. Display is first, last, first. Secondary information that you want to display, such as their student information number, all right? You can also see anybody who is no longer enrolled in your course. If they were to transfer out of your institution or transfer out of your class, it would be read only. You could no longer edit that grade, but you could see what they had, all right, while they were inside of your course. Coming on over, each assignment has 3 dots, okay? Noticing this, all right, 3 dots at the very, very top. And so you can sort by. Now I'm going to come out of your instance just to show you what this looks like in a live gradebook. So at the top, I can filter. All right, so 3 dots. I can sort by the grade. All right, low to high or high to low. All right, and it will bring these up. All right, obviously that is low to high, and I can do it the other way, high to low. So I can just data dive just really quickly, just like that. I can also filter by missing and late, who has not turned these in. All right, so if I want to know whose is late, boom, there it is. There's my status color. All right, so all these coral colors. And I can also sort by missing. All right, and these actually aren't missing. So that's one great way to filter. All right. Speedgrader we're going to talk about in a minute. Message students who. All right, message students who haven't submitted yet. Let me go to a different assignment. Message students who haven't submitted, and I think everybody submitted these assignments. And if I, oh, there we go. There's a bunch of people who haven't submitted. So message students who haven't submitted yet. All right, I can see all these people have not submitted. I can message them. This is a okay. So that's going to, I don't know if I should go ahead and pass back with that. So that's not going to pass back if you put it in the gradebook. Remind me of your student information system. What is your student information system? I will see if I can, each SIS is different. I have never seen a SIS that accepted letter code like that. I could be wrong. I will send you the documentation between Canvas and RenWeb. So again, you know, missing is going to give you that status code, right? There it is. So Canvas automatically tags it. Okay, well, I'm going to just give you the documentation, and whatever you decide from there, you decide. I am not a student information system specialist. So if you were to need support from the SIS team here at Canvas, definitely reach out to your customer success manager and say, I need some technical support with my student information system. Again, reach out to the SIS team here and they can give you some more information about that. Canvas yells at you. I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry to laugh. Do you mean just like Canvas itself doesn't cooperate? Or do you mean physically people at Canvas are yelling at you? Are people at Canvas yelling at you, Rob? When you call us up, are people yelling? That's what I want to know. Okay. Because I was about to say, you need to let me know if that's the situation. Okay. All right. For a minute, I was worried. The system might be yelling at you. Again, I will see if I can reach out to your customer success manager and say, I need technical support for our student information system. That's what I suggest. All right, I lost my train of thought. Message students too, that's where I was. Haven't submitted yet. Okay, so you can blind copy them, these individuals that haven't submitted. And, you know, this is just a great way to create contact. And this will go into their email, all right? It's a blind copy. They don't know the other one got it. Haven't been graded. So if you haven't graded a submission yet, you know, you can email that person and say whatever you need to say about that. Scored less than. All right, so this is out of 26. So if someone scored less than 20, let's say, wow, that's a lot of people that scored less than 20. You can message them and say, hey, let's have a meeting about this material. Let's have a study group or whatever it may be. Scored more than. All right, so scored more than 20. You could have like a little incentive for these students. All right, so a little bit of data diving just right here in the gradebook. Really nice. Curve grades. If you curve a grade, this cannot be undone. The only way you can see this is to go back and look at your gradebook history. That's how you can see that curving. Set default grade. All right, if you wanted to give everybody the same grade, this is how you would do it. You can even overwrite already entered grades. Hide grades. Now, remember over here where I said you have global grade posting, automatically post or manually post, right? You can set these posting rules on the actual assignment. So if you had a large class or you were, just couldn't get it graded, you can say hide grades. Okay, so you can hide grades until you have them all graded. All right. And this is really helpful, especially if you have parents who bother you about grading. So this little eyeball means students can't see this. You can grade. All right. And then when you're done grading this assignment, you can come in and say post grades. Now, and you would post grades to everyone or those who are graded. This is really helpful if you do have those types of parents who say, well, you graded Heather's essay and you haven't graded Greg's. Why haven't you graded Greg's? When are you going to grade these? Hiding it until you have all of that done is really helpful at times. All right. Integrating grades as points or percentage, and then again, that grade posting policy automatic manual. All right, so those are the options that you have on the columns to sort, especially that message students who. Now, again, back to what we said about changing status of students. All right, so we can see Phoebe right here. She has this assignment that is notated as late. All right. I can actually, so here's Phoebe. I'm going to come across and I can click, and it's really hard to see. So I'm going to zoom in. There is a little rectangle right here. All right. And when I click that rectangle on this grade, her grade tray pops out. Now I can change her status. I can see that her submission is 2.73 days late. If I need to change her status to none, I can do that. See how it disappeared? So this goes back to that question, how can I have one assignment on paper and online? This is how you do it. So you can change these statuses for those students submitting with paper, so it is not flagged as late. That's really late. So I could say none, okay, and change that. All right, so that's how you can accommodate those students with one assignment. Any questions about that, how that would work? So this is really helpful in that use case that you were asking about. Paper, online, and just clear that status for those submitting on paper so it doesn't flag it as late. All right, now speaking of this, I'm going to do that one more time. And I'm going to clear Darla's status. I'm going to say that it's not late. And I can actually grade it here if I really, really wanted to. Just give her a grade right here, let's say of 25, and be done with it. All right. Is this the best way to grade? No, it's an option. All right. You could add some comments here also if you wanted to. All right. So back inside of your grade book, this test student, if you submitted something, you can come in and hit that test student and you can flag him as late. All right, if you want to practice that, or missing. All right, or excused. If you flag it as excused, by the way, it does not count towards the final grade. All right. So you can change that if you want to come in and experiment in your gradebook. If you have that test student in here, just click that little grade rectangle, and then this is going to open up and you can change their status. Okay. All right. All right. We are in the home stretch. We are going to end up with Speedgrader. Now, Speedgrader is one of my favorite things inside of Canvas. And again, I would have to say it's in the top 5, all right, along with calendar. And I'm going to come back in and hopefully you submitted something as a test student so you can come in and participate in Speedgrader. All right. So if you didn't, you can still do that. I really encourage it, actually. Submitting something, and it doesn't have to be fancy. All right. So if you just go into just making sure that you've published it, right? Going into that template and going to student view, start the assignment and just upload a file. All right. I am actually going to show you what a text entry looks like. And show you why I don't like them. All right. So let me show you text entry. Now I'll come back to it. I'll come back to it to contrast it. All right, to go to Speedgrader, couple things I can do to get there. All right. Number one, I can click on the name of the assignment at the top. All right. And then I can go to Speedgrader. Okay, that's one way to get into Speedgrader. All right. And I would be able to see whatever submission we have in there. The other ways to get into Speedgrader, also 3 dots at the top. You can just go Speedgrader. All right. So those are the easiest, either clicking on the name of that takes you to the assignment, or 3 dots, just Speedgrader. I'm going to be honest. Typically, this is the way I go to Speedgrader, is straight from Gradebook. All right. If I'm not already inside that assignment. So I'm going to click in Speedgrader. And I am going to navigate to that student who has submitted. All right, there's my test student. And let's talk about what's going on across. All right, so right here, here's my little icon. This takes me back to Gradebook. All right, so this takes me back to Gradebook view. I've got an eyeball right here. This just means I can hide grades if I'm not done grading them. Just another place to hide grades. My gear up here, I have options. Now there are some really cool options under this. And I don't know why that's stuck right there. That's strange. Sort student lists by student name, all right, alphabetically, the date they submitted the assignment, or submission status, it needs grading. I'm going to be honest, this has saved me so many times on so many nights, late night grading. This just really visually helps me out. I can also hide student names in Speedgrader if I need unbiased grading. Okay, so I'm going to hit save. The reason why I like that, look, when it has not been graded, I get that little orange dot right there. all right? That means it has not been graded. To compare and contrast this, see my orange dots, all right? My orange dots means this has not been graded. The green checks means that it has been graded. So when I come over to that gear to options and I say by submission status, that's where that's helpful. If I did it by student name, not so helpful, right? Then it's kind of a hodgepodge. I have to fish for those who have not been submitted, right? So that's why that's really helpful right there underneath options, submission status. All right, also under, we already did options. Also under our gear, I have keyboard shortcuts. And I also, if you need help, there is a place to go get help inside of the guides, all right? Coming on over, I can see what I've graded and what I haven't. I don't have any of this graded, 0 out of 2. And I can see my students over here as well, and I can navigate using my arrows, all right? Now, I can see if this is a file upload or an Office 365, I can see that submission here, all right? And I have my annotation tools, so I can go from page to page, all right? Pretty cool. If they upload it sideways, which they often do, I can turn it and get it right with the world. I can also zoom in and zoom out. If you're a person who likes this to be full screen, you can do that as well, all right? And you would just hit escape, get out of that full screen view. And here are this is my dot viewer and my annotation tools, all right? So I can come through and I call these pointers. I don't know what they're officially called, but I can change my color, all right? So I can say, whatever I need to say here. And come on down the paper and leave additional feedback as needed, okay? Etc. Okay. Highlighting. I've got a little highlighter. I've got my colors over here. I can come through and I can highlight whatever I need to. I can also add text. All right, so lots of different ways. With this text, this is my medium-sized font. I can make it smaller, larger. That's really big. So up to you, all right? Background, that do a whole lot right there. I can also change the color of my fonts. Just be careful with color for accessibility. Strike throughs. I can strike through whatever I need. And if you are grading on an iPad or other mobile device, this is great. You can use a stylus. It's not great with a mouse. I don't like it anyway. And you can circle things. My brother, he's a professor out at TCU. He sits in carpool and to pick up his middle school son, and he grades on his iPhone in Canvas. It's just, I'm like, how do you do it on such a small little screen? I couldn't do it, not on my iPhone. I would have to have at least an iPad to do it. But that's what he does when he sits in carpool. He sits there and grades on Canvas for Teacher. Whatever works is what I say. All right, and then I have my box that I can draw as well. So these are all the annotation tools that you have. Now, coming on over, I have a rubric. Remember this? All right. So if I attach a rubric to an assignment, my world is so much easier. I can just click to give it a grade. And you can see that this is filling in, right? And I can give even additional feedback right here in my speech bubble. Whatever I need to say as I come down. All right. And I would hit save. And there it is. I can see that it came up and it gave my student a grade. New to Speedgrader, I have a comment library. Okay, when I hit that comment library, I have comments in here. You add comments to the library by just typing them, all right? Whatever you need to say, and add that to the library. Now you can add them to the comments down here, but you can only add one comment at one comment, all right? So I can say something like, I can tell you worked hard is a comment that I use a lot. I can click it and it's gonna drop down in here. Now, if I come back to my comment library and I say, I think this is an original idea, it replaces it. So I can add on to it, but I cannot put more than one comment from the comment library. Other ways that you can provide feedback, you can attach a file, all right? Again, media comments. You can record a video or just feedback like that, okay? So start recording. Much improved, great job. And students can go into their gradebook and listen to that, and so can parents if you're using observers. So also I can do speech to text, so I can hit record. Very nice job. I can tell that you worked hard. And it just drops it in. So you have some really nice options in here as far as feedback is concerned. Now, if you were to need, for whatever reason, to reassign an assignment to a student, you can do that, and they're going to have a chance to resubmit that assignment. Okay, you haven't got to adjust the due date or anything. Just hit reassign and they will have another attempt at that assignment. They'll just go into that original assignment and resubmit it. I'm not going to do that, all right? Because then I'll have to resubmit it, and I don't want to take the time to do that right now. But that is what would happen, okay? So I am going to give you some time to play with Speedgrader. All right, let's look at student view. Before I do that, let me show you what it looks like to have text entry. And I do believe this is the one. Yep. Okay. So when a student submits with text entry, this is what it looks like. All right. Notice that I have 0 annotation tools here. All right. All you're going to get is just, that's it. Okay. I cannot leave any feedback over here unless I have a rubric. I can leave a grade and assignment comments. But that's it. It's very, very one-dimensional for the text entry. So this is the reason why I say do not assign an essay as text entry, okay? Because you can't leave any feedback on it. You can't annotate, all right? So it's a little bit of a nightmare to have a lot of text over here. Now I use it some elementary level, like with vocabulary words, things like that. Also with my 5th graders, when they were doing projects, when they were having to vet resources off the internet, they would put lists of websites in there. They would put the links in so I can check them out. Other than that, I didn't use text entry a whole lot. All right, it just depended on grade level and use case. Okay, but it sure wasn't a lot of text in it. Nothing I would have to annotate anyway. All right, so going into my student view. Now notice my test student can see this, right? So they have a grade is posted. I can see it. There's the grade. And let me come back out so I can come into student view. All right, here we go. So as a student, I can see I have a grade that's been returned to me, okay? It's gonna have a little bubble and it's gonna have a number, how many grades have been returned, all right? And I'm gonna come over to grades. And I can see, right, and the reason it says missing, by the way, I changed that status, if you remember, all right? That's the reason it says missing. I can see the blue little dot right here. That means I haven't looked at it. Now, when I zoom in, I can see that there, the clipboard means rubric, all right? The speech bubble means feedback. So I can come and either I can go show details and I can see all the comments here. I can play that feedback. I can see the rubric, all right? Or I can actually click in and hit view feedback. And this way I can see all of the annotations that were made. And as a student, I can actually come in and reply to it. Okay, so I can hit reply and say, thank you. Okay, so I can come back and have a little conversation inside the actual assignment itself. I can also come over and hit view rubric and I can see how this is graded. And I can see any feedback, listen to any videos. Much improved, great job. So you can really add some nice feedback for students inside of Speedgrader. Parents can also see this. So if you have observers inside of Canvas, I don't know why it wants to keep moving on me. It's a nice thing. All right. My student can write a comment back to me. All right. And I will be able to see this under my submission comments. All right. So really nice options in here as far as feedback, grading. It really streamlines the process, to be quite honest with you.